Good evening, chat. This is Kayla here from Death Curse, and tonight is going to be a little bit different because the first thing I'm going to do tonight is show off a little campaign that Aria Blackness is doing really quick. So I'm going to share my screen and we are going to see that because it's only running until Halloween. So he is promoting his new figure. It is a pumpkin scented, I believe, version of Talus. It's a pumpkin spice Talus. So I'm going to share with you guys that, and then I will get into our guest this evening. So let me get this up and going for you guys. All right. Let's make sure. Okay, here we go. And I have to make sure, hopefully the sound plays. Give me 1 second. Let me stop that for a second because I wasn't sharing sound. I apologize. I am extremely run down this evening, guys. I have started my new job and I am still working my 2 other ones along with school. Okay, here we go. Now I have volume, so this can be fine.
Greetings, ghosts and ghouls. My name is Aria Black. I hope you're all having a brilliant, spooky season. So, I'm here today to show you something really cool. If you head on over to INDIEGOGO and search for the Adventures of Talus in Outer Space, you will see the brand new addition to the campaign, which is this Pumpkin Spice Talus. Yes, he is an awesome, bright and vibrant orange variant of the original Keshi figure that did so well. But what's even cooler about this one is he will be a scented Keshi figure. That's right, he's going to smell like pumpkin spice. It's going to be amazing, it's going to be seasonal, it's going to be very spooky. So head on over to INDIEGOGO, search for the Adventure of Talus in Outer Space, and he will be the very first thing you see. He's available on the featured tier on his own at a very steep discount, so check him out. But also, if you purchase any artwork on the campaign right now, I will send you Pumpkin Spice Talus for absolutely free. However, don't wait on this one. He is a very rare figure. There will only be 10 of him made, and on top of that, he is only available until Halloween. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to INDIEGOGO, search for the Adventure Talus in Outer Space, check it out, get yourself a Pumpkin Spice Talus today, and of course, happy Halloween.
All right, everybody. So if you haven't gone and back to Talus, if you do so now, you're going to get the pumpkin spice scented Talus figure in Massachusetts. That would definitely be a hit just because we out here like dunks, and pumpkin spice dunks is like the #1 seller. People want it all year round. So I feel like it's going to be very successful. Plus, I haven't heard of anyone doing any scented figures yet. So that's going to be awesome. So let's go over to my guest tonight. My guest tonight has been on this show before, but not for an interview. He came on for a hangout. So it was a little bit wild. I was trying to do a mini interview at the time. My guest tonight is Adam Lawson. He has had over 20 years experience in TV and movies, and he is the creator of The Eighth, The Kill Journal, the RPG game Asunder, and he's here to talk about kids and monsters. And Spencer brought you on already. He jumped the gun.
Yes, and I'm right here. I've been listening to this intro very painfully, as it is for anyone to hear somebody, talk about you. But I'm here. I'm ready to rock and talk kids and monsters, or Hollywood, or whatever you'd like to talk about, or maybe all of it.
So let's start from the beginning. Before you did comics, you have over 20 years experience doing TV and movies. So is that where you got your start originally?
Yeah. So I think though, excuse me, for myself, television, film and TV, I've been working in it since I was a teenager, and it's always been my life and career and job, if you will. And so, and I always, but even before that, I loved comics as a young kid and have never stopped. And I was a really avid collector and reader until my early 20s, and I was buried so deep in climbing up the ranks in Hollywood and back to back movies that I wasn't as collecting or as reading as much. And I remember I was doing a music video for Snakes on a Plane, and Sam Jackson came to set, and he was reading Brian Azzarello's 100 Bullets. And in fact, in the shot, he is reading that graphic novel. And he was personally reading it, and I thought, man, if this is cool enough for Sam Jackson, it's got to be cool enough for me, right? Arguably one of the coolest people in all of Hollywood, and one of those badass actors of all time. So I'm like, this has got to be cool enough for me. So then I went out and I bought that graphic novel, and that reignited my passion for it, and it also brought me fully back into it. And I realized what my love in graphic novels and comics was not in capes and cowls, which I do like as well, but my love was all these other stories outside of the world of capes and cowls. And that's why, and from that time, I think I'd always had this private passion of like, oh, I should do a comic book. And that's why I started the 8th, right? Which was, it was a 224-page hardcover, massive story that I decided I'm going to start working on. Oh, and there she is. So I said, I'm going to start working on this, and maybe I'll get it published, or I don't even know what. So there was an artist I liked who I started to hire to do my storyboards, and then I would then pay him more to work on this comic book. And so over a couple of years, I got the first 5 issues done with Joran Evers as the artist. Amazing guy. He did the lines and colors. And then when COVID hit, and deep in pandemic land, and Hollywood fully shut down. My TV show at the time, I had this TV show at Warner Brothers. It got canceled, and I was certainly not the only one in Hollywood who was completely out of a job, as the whole thing fell apart. And so I said, you know what, it's time to get that comic book and comic book going. And I'd always wanted to have a publishing company that did comics and board games, right? That was kind of like my side hustle to movies. It was a way to create something artistic that didn't have to run through the studio system. Nothing wrong with that, but it's nice to create something that doesn't have all the executives and all the other complications that come with movies. It can just be a little bit more pure, your heart to your audience. And so then boom, that happened last April. And then I said, boy, that worked out. And I learned so much around the ropes, and I loved it with the 8th. And I said, I'll do this other one called The Kill Journal. I had this other story, and it became this beautiful leather bound edition, that is currently on the boat, here from, here from China. You can see all these rad pages. This is Jason Krager's great artwork. And it's really something else. And the book, should be here any day now, arriving from China. It had massive delays because of the boat got COVID. It got delayed in Hong Kong. It's its own story. And anybody, in this world who knows anything about shipping or paper, the current complications with it are a level, level 10.
Oh yeah,
level 10. And then Kids and Monsters is the new one. And I've been having so much fun creating it because it's been a chance for me to build and create something independent of big studio systems, which are wonderful for what they are. But this is a chance to make something that is, I guess you can say, is art. So I'm loving being in comics. This is like my great after hours work.
Would you say you have more freedom when you get to do comics overall, or?
Oh, for sure. There's no question about it. There just isn't any question. I mean, when, I was recently writing a series for Netflix, and, there is, 5 creatives from the production company. There's 3 creatives from the network. There's a lot of people have maybe different ideas or feelings about it. This is just what the process is, right? And so you're trying to move through all of that to create something that's engaging, is making the network happy, and you feel like will be exciting for an audience member, which is a wonderful skill set. But in some ways, it's nice to be able to say, what happens in the Kill Journal is just what myself and the artist say happens in the Kill Journal, and the plot twists and the dialogue and the characters, and so there's some more direct purity in that storytelling. Berserk is one of my favorite stories, and you think about that manga.
Oh, I love that manga.
Right, it's maybe the greatest. Maybe the best. Maybe Akira. Maybe these are of the best.
I think Claymore.
Or certainly of the best.
Claymore's up there for me.
Sure, absolutely.
I love that fantasy stuff.
So no, totally. It's hard to say the best. There's just these are great, but that's some guy who wrote and drew 40 volumes. There's thousands of pages that he crafted all on his own, and there is a purity when you read Berserk, because you're like, this tale was made by one man, and it is this person's. There's a real intimate connection, and that's what I believe makes comics special. It's why I love them. It's why I don't love maybe big corporate comics as much, because you have all the corporate nonsense of that can come with big movies, but at a comic book scale. So it's kind of like, what's the payoff, right? And whereas it's so nice, there's an artist and writer that I love, Daniel Warren Johnson. I did this book, Murder Falcon, another one called Extremity, and it's like, I remember reading Murder Falcon, and you put that thing down and you're like, well, this sucks, because everything's going to be downhill after this, because it's so good. Right. And, this is a pure work of art, a creator owned piece of passion. Right. And so that's what really gets me going about comic books. So maybe that's too much, but
No, I think that's amazing. I think that's all information that people would be interested in and should know. Do you think all of your experience in movies helped with your creation of comics? I like to ask people that have any experience doing work in TV and movies, because I've always heard that scripts are very similar.
Yeah, I mean, what's really helpful about it is, as a writer in television or film, though, oftentimes I've directed a lot of my own episodes that I've written. So you're used to like coming up with an idea and then also having to make it in real space, like an artist, is that it helps you. What was really helpful about it is the idea of thinking through what makes a story meaningful, what makes dialogue impactful. How do you take heartfelt nuance and also high action and adventure and merge them together? Now the scripts are quite different, and you have different tools at your disposal. You have sound, you have all kinds of elements that happen in a motion world that you don't in a flat world, but you also have different, you don't have the budget limitations, right? You have page count. So there are some different skills, but I think what's meaningful about it is that you are thinking that what you are writing is not what the audience is going to get. You are writing something that's going to be interpreted by, in this case, an artist and a colorist, whereas in a movie script, it's going to be interpreted by crew members, right? So you've actually written something that doesn't go directly to the audience, and that's, I think, understanding that, and that's the purpose of your script, is to inspire other people who are in on it, right, who are working on it, versus maybe an audience.
That's really interesting stuff. Right now I'm taking a writing class, and basically you're comparing movies to the literature. Okay. So it's been very interesting, because it made me look at actors in a different light, because there were things that I read. Okay. Like, for instance, we just got done reading this Joyce Carol Oates work, Where Have You Going? Where Have You Been? And then they did a short film, which was actually, I'm trying to think of the actress's name, but she was in Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park, Laura Dern. It was like one of her first movies. But it was very interesting to what I read, how I interpreted the story wasn't how it visually was done. So actors have
Right.
this talent of bringing an interpretation to life where you're reading something that's a little bit different. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but what you
That's right.
said just made me think of all that. Especially
Yeah, and that's and then and that's what
last.
happens on the movie side is that you have the benefit that your lines are not going to be read; they're going to be spoken
Yes.
by an incredible piece of talent who has their own artistic input and their own creativity that they're adding to it, and that's exciting. So they're different because as a comic book writer, you're writing something dialogue that's going to be read, not acted.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the most important thing is when you're creating a character?
So I think is to find out their intention and their obstacle. That's what makes characters exciting. So in Kids and Monsters, Mally's intention is that she wants her family to come back together, right? Her parents are on the verge of divorce. Her obstacle is she has two obstacles. One, and is that she can't control her parents' choices, right? And that creates anger, which she then gives into,
Okay.
right? Which then causes more problems.
So would you say she's like a round dynamic character? Or would she
I
be
think
like
that's I think that's a way that you don't want to look at a character because humans and in movies and scripts don't quite work that way, that somebody's a round dynamic character, somebody's a static character. I think what you need to think, the best way to think about them is what do they want? What's stopping them from getting it? And how do they go about getting it? That's who they are. Those other things are words that professors use. They
all the
aren't things
time.
that actors use, right? It's really what do they want? What's stopping them? And what are their tactics? Because someone's tactics to how somebody gets something defines them.
Mhm.
If I want control over you, Kayla, and my tactic is I put a gun to your head, I'm now a villain. But if I write you as a villain, then it's all fake stuff. Instead of what's at the core of this person is they want your control, and the way they're going to get it is a gun. And because of that choice, we see them as a villain. But to think in your characters' heads in this land of intention and obstacle and tactics, I think then removes that need to have this discussion of like well-rounded, or you could just say, what do they want? And then, in this process of trying to get what they want, you can determine whether they grow and become better, or they implode, or they reject the change, right?
Mm.
So I think that's maybe a more meaningful way to approach it. And so in Kids and Monsters, our two characters, brother and sister, Gatsby and Mally, want the same thing. They want their family to come back together, right? But they have different obstacles and they have different tactics. And that's what shapes them. And so, and then I think as you're trying to think characters beyond that, once you get outside of that, right? Like that's your skeleton, right? Then you can layer on the things that make them maybe more unique or interesting or whatnot, which become the nuances of their tactics or the nuances of their obstacle. So I think that would be my thoughts.
I love that. I love hearing about how everyone likes to develop characters, and I like hearing when people come up with their own ways of doing it. I think that everyone has a different definition, and I really like yours because it shows that I feel that you create, I mean, just from reading the 8th, there was a lot of growth in the character. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't read it.
Oh,
I
sure.
really loved the 8th. Like I said, chapter 4 and 5, they were my favorites. I loved everything about them. Like out of the whole book, those two were my favorite. When he goes over to Japan and they go over to Japan and everything. I loved that. The whole fight scene. You're really great with the action stuff too. But I loved how the characters were shown in the book. So I'm excited for when I get my hands on the Kill Journal, because from what you've shown about those characters, they're very complex. And
Sure.
I like that they all have such an intense backstory. Um, I know we're here to talk about kids and monsters tonight, but I'm still waiting for the Kill Journal, and I know other people have read it, and I've been going like this, like, don't tell me about it. You sent the emails. I'm appreciative, but I have to read it in my hand. This is a book I've been waiting to hold in my hand, that leather bound cover, and
Yeah.
flip the pages, and yeah. So
No,
I
I totally get it. Yeah, no, because that's a story about trauma survivors, really, and how they put their lives back together, right? And
you're doing something completely different.
right. And I think that, with the Kill Journal or with any tale, what is the payoff of this journey? Now, once you've abandoned, the intention obstacle of the character, you think, what are they going to get at the end of the Yellow Brick Road, right? And how does that pay off in a meaningful way, right? Or what are they going to learn, right? How do they grow? And if you can't answer that question all along the way, how they're going to grow at the end and what is the growth, then probably your tale is going to be somewhat flat. Like if you're telling somebody like, oh no, wait till I set up this world. It's like, okay, then you've already missed the boat, right? Because people don't really care about worlds.
Thing. I love the
right?
world.
People don't care about worlds. They don't. It doesn't move people until they have a character to hook them that will take them through that world, right? Just exploration of worlds is history class, right? And it's pretty hard to get people to pay you to go to history class. So that's what I say, and like, as you're building that you're driving your engine, at least for myself, through how your character is going to grow, and then the events that occur inspire situations and circumstances to challenge them and to create that growth. I think is ideal in storytelling.
We have a couple questions in the chat, so I want to do them because I am trying to get better at when people have questions. I admit I am the worst, everyone. So let me go to the first one. The first one was from Johnny. It's okay. I know you can hear. Let there be light.
Yeah, sorry, my lights were dying on me here, and so I'm like, I've got to turn something on. Because we're dying, and now I guess in this ugly lighting.
That's okay. I'm in horrible lighting because I am the worst female ever, and I can't work a ring light. And so I suck at it. All of these women that stream, they have like the most beautiful setup and everything, and I'm like, here are my collectibles in the back that I need to organize, and my ring light doesn't function correctly, so I don't even look like myself. I'm like, so the first question that I was asked to ask you was from Johnny Cage, JP7, who is who are weirder, but I think who is weirder, artist or actors?
In a way, they're the same. They're very much the same. They have lots of idiosyncrasies and quirks about them, and that's part of what you want out of them, right? You want an artist who doesn't see things like you do. You want an actor who has unusual taste that can bring out interesting things. That's why you hire Joaquin Phoenix, because he isn't like your neighbor. He's somebody. He's somebody that's so different, and so I think that they kind of are one and the same in that they are very idiosyncratic characters in life.
I hope that answered your question, Johnny. And then Colin had a question here, a silly question. There are no stupid questions, but there can be silly questions. This one's a silly question. Who is most likely to win in a headbutting contest in the cast of this book? I don't know if he was referring to Kids and Monsters or the Kill Journal, but if it was the Kill Journal, we'll go there first because I know we were talking about that at the time he posted the comment.
So, yeah, so I think the person who's going to win that is a guy named Finch. He's this guy right here. Right here, I think this is the guy that would win it. You can see it here. His name's Finch. And he grew up in a dog fighting pit, fighting and killing dogs, you know, as a dog fighter himself. His dad, you know, ran the ring and threw him in when he was a young kid. And so while he's not the biggest, Brecken's bigger, St. George is bigger, he's by far the most desperate and willing to go to any length to kill you. So he would, I would say, win because of his just sheer ferocity, even though he is maybe scrawnier in
It's not
physique.
about the size. It's about the fight you have in your heart. My dad always said that because my dad's like a smaller guy. And my dad was a scrapper back in the day. Well, even a couple of years ago when some stuff went down. But he's not a very big man. But he has so much heart and fight in him. He comes up. People think he's like huge. And I'm like, he's like 5'9". So
Nice.
I can believe that. I actually want to take a look. I know the Kill Journal is closed.
Hey, Matt Barr. Hey, Matt Barr.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I feel like the comments load slow on my side.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone that is here
Matt,
this
Matt is a
evening.
great artist. Matt is a great artist. He is.
I've seen
really
some of his
exceptional.
stuff. It's phenomenal. I'm
Yeah,
very,
Rock and Roll Ninjas promises to be something really special.
Maybe he'll have to come on the show at some point.
I agree.
So I want to take a look at just the Kill Journal for anyone that hasn't seen it. I don't know if you're ever going to offer it again after all of this stuff that
yeah. No, so just if you go to giftedrebels.com,
okay,
you'll see it.
Let me look it up real quick. Because I know the campaign's over, but I know the Indiegogo stay up sometimes. So it's giftedrebels.com. Give me 1 second. I am Googling.
Yeah, so we so I feel like the Indiegogo is phase 1 of launching a book, right? And then phase 2 is a Shopify store that continues long term and running ads and you know that process. And then you know phase 3 is retail. So it's in phase 2 right now.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm trying to think of
Colin
where
is
this is a
waiting.
beautiful, beautiful website. I think I'm going to show the trailer for the 8th while I'm here. I loved the 8th. Thank you for that.
Yes, Colin, you will be getting this soon. You will be getting this soon.
Thank you for stopping by, Rex. But Australia delivery sucks because our end of the world. All delivery sucks right now, to be honest. One of my jobs is UPS and especially international deliveries. So a lot of it is there's a ton of different reasons I could get into that would take me like an hour long to go over them. But international delivery right now sucks. So
yeah,
it's not just Australia. It's everywhere. Australia has actually a temporary ban from UPS from certain states. Like if you're in Massachusetts, we cannot ship out to Australia right now, just per UPS for some reason. They just said it's not allowed. It's so awesome, you know. But I'm going to share this screen here, and I have to get off camera while I do this for 1 second, just because my internet is horrible and even more horrible with the tourists lately. So let me stop my camera, share the screen, and we'll take a look at this website. Looks phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, Spencer, let me scroll this down. This is the trailer for the 8th. I hope sound is playing. I did click it, so.
According to my math teacher, I'm the smartest kid she's ever met. I solved the Millennium Math problem. Nothing changed. My brother still hung himself. My mother's still depressed. Kids at school are still horrifying to each other. But what if there was a way I could fix all that? What if I could take this broken world and reassemble it? And even if the world didn't want to, I would make it change. Make it see things differently. The only problem is that sometimes the world pushes back and makes you do things. Terrible, terrible things.
That was a phenomenal trailer, and that it's just overall a phenomenal read. You are great with action, so I'm excited for the Kill Journal because I know that's going to be action packed.
I hope so. I hope that you like it, Kayla. I really do. I have all my fingers crossed. But yeah, you can order the Kill Journal in the 8th tier.
Spencer, let me see.
And Kids and Monsters you can get on Indiegogo right now.
We're going to go over to that. Don't worry. I just want to pick your brain. Where did the concept for the 8th come up with? Like, where'd you come up with that concept?
It began with this idea that I wanted a character whose power was derived from the fact that they could do advanced mathematics and that they could bend reality through their knowledge of math. And so that was where it started to begin. And then I thought, the heart of this story is about a kid whose brother commits suicide and they want to try and fix that. But you can't fix that, right?
No.
Not in the way that you want. And I think that, as a child, I was somebody whose friend had committed suicide, and also somebody where bullying was very present. And so I wanted to build that into a tale, and that this teen, his mathematics, then coupled with this ancient Sumerian armor,
Yes.
could then reshape reality and become different things. And that he would then try to make the world be a better place. That's how he would fix what happened to his brother. He would make the world better. It kind of came to me in this thought, I remember reading about Mao Zedong, right, who wanted to have this idea of utopia. And so to get there, he killed a lot of people, right, to make the world a certain way. And this misguided feeling that can come over you that if you can just make people do a certain thing, that it will fix, the world will fix, but it doesn't work that way. And our character learns that the hard way. So once again, that was the heart of it was a teenager whose brother committed suicide, and they trying to figure out how to cope. And the fantasy of it was a piece of ancient Sumerian armor that could be commanded through mathematics.
Monet enjoys this book. I loved the whole concept of the book, and I love the bits of history stuff that is mixed into it, because there are some historical elements mixed into it. I mean, but that might just be me, how I interpret it, because I look deeper into things, I feel, when I'm reading stories. And I just loved the artwork in it. The artist did such a great job, I feel, conveying all the messages within your story.
Yeah, he's the real deal. Jordan is wonderful.
And then the Kill Journal, we're all waiting on this book. I'm happy to hear that it's going to be coming in soon, and you're going to have a lot to fulfill. Oh my God, the fulfillment process for you. I feel so bad.
Well, fortunately, we have a fulfillment house.
Oh, you do?
They're called Air House. So actually, the books literally just go from the port in Long Beach to their warehouse in Long Beach. They have all the information is already in there, and their team packages it. And so we can, there's 420, 430 backers on the Kill Journal, and I guess plus all the books we've sold online since. So it's about 500 people that owe the book, and they can fulfill that in a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the once we have them, they're going to get to you as quick as possible. Fortunately, we have a team that does it versus me in my living room, taping and, versus a warehouse that has like a really significant system in place so they can speed that process up.
That's an interesting concept. A lot of people are doing the fulfillment themselves. So maybe that's something people do want to look into, possibly.
Yeah, it's because it's cheaper to do it yourself. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
And I can understand that, you know what I mean? And I think that's fair. Lots of these, but I'm trying to figure out how to make a business out of it so that it can work without me having to put books in a box, so that it can be realistic. But I really respect people who do it on their own for sure.
Oh yeah, it's a very hard process. Just you have to make sure everything is right. I don't know how things work with the shipping process if, say, another company does it and they don't pack it a certain way, but I'm assuming, they are given certain instructions on how to pack and they're very skilled in that area as if you went to a place to have a packing job done.
Yeah, absolutely. And they send you pictures of, hey, can you confirm this is acceptable for you? This is how we're packaging.
Oh, okay.
It. So
that's really interesting. I'm going to stop my camera because I'm going to play this Kill Journal trailer and I'll pick your brains on that. And I know I did a little bit last time you were on, but now that this is my interview show, we're going to do it again.
Please.
So.
There's a war going on, and I've seen the enemy. Revenants is what they call them. Vengeful souls back from the dead and hungry for blood. I can't fight the war alone. I need soldiers. Those who face the evil that lurks in the shadows. Those who've lost someone. Those with nothing left to lose. I can take their broken lives and reshape them. I can make them into something violent and holy. I can give them revenge, but I cannot give them peace. Only God can do that, and He stopped listening to me long ago. There's a moment that comes when they know whether they're a victim or a survivor. There's a war going on. Which one will you be?
I'm so excited for this book.
I am, because I had these advanced copies for a few months, because they airmail it and then waiting on the boat, but so I've been so excited to get it into people's hands, and it's hard to hear their reaction, and I can't wait.
I can't wait either. When do you think that they're going to be going out? So you're going to receive them, you think, in the next couple days?
So October 23rd. October 23rd is when the shipping manifest is saying is when the October 23rd is when the books are supposed to arrive at the port in Long Beach.
Okay.
But it's a boat, so it can always give or take 2 or 3 days, right? And you can always, and then also too, it's getting through the port. Which is tough. Fortunately, we have our warehouses really close, so it's not a big long haul. So my theory is that I'm hoping maybe like mid-November it's to people, just because the world is crazy right now in the shipping department.
Everything is crazy right now. I don't know how anyone is managing anything with the shipping stuff and all of their creative processes, and I'm even more impressed with the people that are working with people internationally, because that has to be a struggle within its own between different time zones and just trying to get everything out to backers. So I think it's great because you've been very honest and you've kept updating the campaign and just letting everyone know. And then you even offered, basically you sent out email like PDFs to everyone that backed.
Yeah. So everybody, while we're making the book, I give people a monthly digital issue of True the Kids and Monsters as well, that we're ahead quite a bit, and so By the time the campaign ends, you can get issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, you get them monthly. So you have it, it's being done and worked on, and then it's really just the hold up on, getting it shipped here. So
the idea for the Kill Journal, how did this come about?
It was it came out from this thought that I had. It was like, how come when Freddy or when Jason comes into the shower, it's never like he pulls back the curtain and it's Bruce Willis there. It's always that's not who it is. It's always a naked 16-year-old, right? It's like, why isn't it Bruce Willis? Or he pulls it back and it's somebody who can fight back. And that's what started this initial idea, right? Of like, who is that person that then is there ready, waiting actually with a machete themselves for Jason to pull back the curtain, right? And that's what breathed life into the Kill Journal. And in this, it's called the Kill Journal because there's a priest who recruits these people who have survived slasher attacks. He recruits them into his little army that is going to hunt these slashers down. And this is the way that they're trying to cope with their trauma, is through a vengeance, which it can't actually give you peace. But so he has turned them into like his unholy army that's going after them. It's going after people, after these slashers. And so then it became, listen, if you're going to be tangling with Mike Myers intentionally, who would you have to be? How brutal would you have to be, and how aggressive would that fighting have to be? And so anyway, so that's what that kind of became the impetus for that story. And now here it is. It's all on its way.
I love it, because that was always one of my questions too when watching horror films, was why is it always someone that's defenseless? Or why is it when they have a chance to kill the villain, they stop? Like, I forget what it was.
They stop.
What was it? Chainsaw Massacre? What was it? Texas Chainsaw Massacre? One of them, the one that Jessica Biel was in, I think it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She has like the chance to like kill him, and then like stops midway and leave. I'm like, really? I would have kept hacking him into pieces. I would have separated his head completely from his body. I don't understand it. So I'm excited to see what you do with the Kill Journal. Plus, it seems like you have some really strong, unique characters. It kind of gives me some Garth Ennis vibes a little bit. I don't know if you're familiar with any of Garth Ennis's work.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Or Ennis. I always pronounce everyone's names wrong. But
no, it's no problem. Yeah, Garth Ennis. No, yeah, he's
yeah. I'm like, I always say Ennis,
the best, right?
Ennis. Like, his stuff
no,
is great. Yeah, Preacher was phenomenal.
One of the best. One
Loved
of the very
his
best.
stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it kind of gives me that kind of feel. I'm excited to read it. I'm also very interested in how you got into the RPG world. Okay, because this is Asunder here. This is gorgeous. I'm big on maps. I think I've told everyone knows this. I know this is playing here. Is there sound with this?
there is. Yeah.
Oh, you know what it is? Give me a second. I have to stop sharing and go back in because I have to get off screen in order to share sound and everything. I'm telling you, it's my internet. But Asunder, to do an RPG campaign, okay, I love stuff like that. And I love the art. I can tell that you had an artist that did Magic the Gathering, because I played Magic the Gathering Commander. Do some
For
art
sure.
for you.
Absolutely. There are several of the artists. Yeah, several of the artists who worked on this have done, many Magic the Gathering cards. James Pake, who created the logo of it, has done, dozens of Magic the Gathering cards. So yeah, no, certainly is the case. And, it's a high fantasy RPG system, set in a world without metal. And, it took 6 years to make it. There's 2 source books, there's a novel, there's 9 awesome, highly detailed minis from big to small. There is a keeper's screen to help you out with the rules. There's an adventure module. So there's tons of material. and it took, it was quite an Olympic feat to get it finished. And now, and I learned so many things along the way, but it was quite the ride. But yeah, it's out, and it's also arriving. It should be arriving here shortly as well. It arrives here the week after the Kill Journal from the boat from China as well, and so we're really pumped.
I love fantasy stuff, and I love RPGs, and I love all of the artwork that's in it. And you said it took 6 years to make. So would you say that doing the RPG campaign and making Asunder was probably one of your hardest projects you've worked on because of what goes into it? Because not only characters have to be well developed, but you have to have a unique world. You have to have a unique world that draws people in, and unique fantastical creatures and stuff. Hey, Phil, thanks for joining.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So that was definitely the hardest endeavor of them all, for sure. Just because it's 400 pages of 8.5 by 11 paper, single space. It's so much more. Its novels are so much more detail, and it also has to be a game. It has to work, function. There's a functionality to it. That's now been played by hundreds of people, and so sometimes, even though you spent all this time on it, you can still see there were some mistakes made or things you didn't understand, and it's really a humbling experience. But it's so fulfilling to see other people play the game you made. It's pretty unrivaled how satisfying that is, and for people to be excited about that world. So that's Asunder. And if you're an RPG person, it's a dark fantasy setting, and it's worth taking a look at. But yeah, a huge undertaking. I didn't know how big it was going to be. At first, it was going to be one source book, and I was going to be quick to get out. And then it just kept expanding as I was building it and developing it. And then there's what it became. So
I'm going to play that trailer. Give me 1 second. I'm going to do it with sound this time. I just want people to see all the different avenues that you have done, because I think it's impressive. I just think it's extremely impressive.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so I'm going to share that, and then we'll go over to Kids and Monsters. So let me stop my camera, share the screen. And we are going to share this really quick. Hopefully this is playing right here, I want to say.
The world is broken by the gods who gave it life, then abandoned it. We have been left to fend for ourselves, our divine essence bonding with the plants, which we reshaped into weapons, bonding with the sea, which then reshaped us. Next was the insects, and then the beasts of the land. We found remnants of the gods, chaos, the power to transform reality. But it was not meant for us to wield. The secret societies, with both noble and selfish goals, have tried to control it. Something has changed. Gaia has awoken from her slumber, and Asunder has begun to devour itself. The Naga have betrayed the Alliance. Demons flood the Black Isle, and the dead have begun to rise. Most deny the end is coming. We've seen the signs, cannot turn back. We are the Seekers, and we will find the answers wherever they take us. Our story can be your story.
So
that looks phenomenal to me. Like, it's insanely beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I know Matt Mercer did the voice for that, who is the Dungeon Master for Critical Role and is a friend, and really grateful for that he came and did that. And so really excited. So to see it all come together. I know that was a lot of work. Rodrigo Villacorta did all the animation for that, which is quite a feat.
And that's available on your website.
And now here with Kids and Monsters, yes.
I know, because I know we're pressed for time this evening, and that's all available on your website, correct? And what is the website again? It's giftedrebels.com, correct?
It's right. So it's Gifted Rebels. Yep.
All right. So now we're taking a look here at your newest campaign, Kids and Monsters. And you are at 5,376. You are 89% of your $6,000 goal. So we're going to take a look at this trailer, and then we can go through your perks real quick, and you can talk about this while I show off your perks, okay? Just because we're pressed for time. I usually like to dig in depth with stuff, but I know we got caught up talking before the show, you, Spencer, and
No,
I.
you're fine. You're fine. There's tons. There's
So
there's a lot we've already kind of talked about or laid the groundwork for this as well. But yeah, however, if you want to show off perks, and then we can talk about the story, let's do it.
let me show.
I started seeing the cracks just after Mom and Dad began fighting. They were thin as pencils at first. Then they got bigger. And things started to disappear. Beasts are pouring out of them. Beasts trying to rip the world in two. Just like my family is being ripped in half by my parents. But we're not alone. There are keeps shaped like backpacks hidden in the world within. They hold monsters for those willing to fight. Here, monsters are not the things to be afraid of, but embrace. Monsters are the ones who are going to save us.
I love the whole concept of this too. These are all very unique ideas that you come up with. This kind of, I don't know why, but I get like Monster Squad vibes with this. Mixed
Please,
with like,
please get those vibes.
I get like I'm dead serious. I get like Monster Squad mixed with like Pokemon, and then there's another one that I'm thinking of at the same time. I don't know why, but it's similar to Pokemon, but not Pokemon. I'm trying to think of what it is. And no, not Digimon. That's not what I'm thinking of, guys. Maybe one of you know in the chat what I'm thinking of. So I love this. Monsters live in backpacks like genies do in lamps. I love that.
Right. See, this tale, the monsters, they live in the world within. So there's two worlds. There's the worlds that we all know and live in now, and then there's the world within. And the two worlds are being ripped apart by the red beasts. And inside the world within, there are these keeps. Like that's like a castle, right? But it looks like a backpack on the outside, right? In the same way a genie's a lamp, the inside is like this huge elaborate place where they live. And so we have this story of Mally and Gatsby, whose parents are on the verge of divorce. And their world is about ready to be ripped in two, much like the whole planet's about ready to be ripped in two. And so it's a metaphor, this war with these red beasts who are trying to rip the two worlds apart, make everyone miserable, and their family, which is about ready to be ripped apart, or at least it feels like it. And so these kids, get involved in this supernatural war, which then mirrors this war at home, right? And if they can save the world, can they save their family? And will they grow up in this process, right? And so Maxi Dallow is the artist who I think is just doing absolutely amazing work. I think he's the next Daniel Warren Johnson. And the colors are Mike Spicer, who I think is just incredible. So these are some of the red beasts that are breaking these seals. There's these 6 seals that hold the two worlds together. And these seals, like this ring, represent these promises. And once they've all been broken, the two worlds will separate forever.
That's interesting. And this is going to be 72 pages. Was that what I read? 72 pages?
Yeah. So it's a 72 page. It's hardcover. It's an oversized European style size. It's A4.
Okay.
So it's like an inch and a half. It's like an inch and a half bigger on each side. So what's cool is when you open it up, it's a very immersive experience, right? You open it up and boom, you're in it.
What's the age range for this?
So this is an all ages book.
Okay. That's great.
I would say that it's it certainly works for, because I've had journalists read it. And so I think it works for a 30-something as well as it works for a young teenager.
I think that works great. I think right now there is definitely a decline in the comics that are coming out for young teens, like preteens and the teenage age. There is a disconnect with what not to knock what some creators are doing. And I'm not saying it's necessarily indie creators, because it's not really indie creators, but there is a problem within mainstream comics right now. And I'm working in the shop. I see it. I hear the complaints. So this is definitely something that I see the kids that come into the shop wanting to buy, and their parents allowing them to buy. Especially, I'm located in Salem. This is a book that would do well in my area around this time, because the parents are looking for horror kind of monstery books for kids. And there's a lot of kids, young kids, that are into this stuff. Like, definitely.
Oh,
So I think you're
yeah,
hitting
in
the nail
fact-
on the head with this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
But what were you going to say, Adam? Sorry.
No, I think that there is a huge crowd of people that this type of entertainment works for, right? That is, and there is massive sales with, when you look at these graphic novels such as Dog Man for like preteens and teens.
Oh, they
But
love
this
it.
is right. It's the sales are insane, and also manga is.
Manga
really
is the
effective
number one seller overall.
For sure.
It sells more than comics at this point in the shop. Gaming is up. Gaming is probably the number one seller in the shop right now. I will say gaming,
Gotcha, I see.
manga, comics. It's like
Gotcha.
that.
But it makes sense. Gaming, manga, Western comics. That makes a ton of sense. Yeah.
Yep. Obviously, you mix in like the anime collectibles or manga collectibles and like statues. I mean, by the end of the month, I'll have a better idea of what to tell everyone. But basically, that's what it looks like for me right now. But let's get back to this. So your featured perk right now, it's the t-shirt. I'm a big t-shirt person. This is probably the perk.
I'm a t-shirt person too.
I'm a t-shirt
and this
person.
t-shirt
This
is a
cool.
high quality screen printed t-shirt. It's a tri-blend. It's a Bella canvas with a private label on it. It's not just a boxy shirt from Comic-Con with a rectangle piece of art in the center. And there's a bigger picture of it, if you scroll down lower.
Yeah.
But the featured perks get you the book, gets you the t-shirt, and it gets you the exclusive ash can.
I love this black and white edition too.
You can also get it in black and white, which that is a love for me. So I did that. This is the exclusive ash can.
What's the ash can
about? It's about a monster named Nail who crash lands as a child monster just outside of Lovelock, which is the same town that Kids and Monster takes place in. And then he befriends this girl named Gu, because Gu is a Korean female name. Yeah. And so they are pals, and they grow up. She goes off to college, and he's trying to figure out how to fit in with this world and how he can be accepted as a monster. So this is a story. I shouldn't say it's tied into the plot of Kids and Monsters, but it segues into another story set around the same town.
Okay. So it's kind of so it will be like a continued series, but different themes of
Correct.
a series, basically. So you're hitting different aspects, or is it?
No,
I'm just trying to figure out, is everything going to tie in?
So it all ties into the same town.
Okay.
Of Lovelock.
Okay.
It's kind of like My Castle Rock is
oh,
Lovelock.
okay.
And so Nail and Goo, he crashed, landed on Earth because he was being hunted by these bounty hunters, which he didn't know about. And so his past is coming back to haunt him. And so this is another story that will revolve around this world of Lovelock. And obviously it also deals with the monster. So it has that connection. So it's kind of a sister story to Kids and Monsters, but it is not a direct plot line.
Interesting Introvert said the art style reminds him of Sam Keith, and I agree. The art style does remind me of Sam Keith. Who are you familiar with, Max?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And he said that he's liking Kids and Monsters. So that's great to hear that people are already receiving this well. It's getting well received. And you did figurine, and I love this. This is so fun looking.
Yeah, so that's a
awesome.
custom sculpt and hand painted and figurine. So it's a one of a kind. There's only one on Earth. And so it's a true collector's item. I thought it would be nice to do something that made the campaign really special and somebody could walk away with a real collector's piece.
That's
Hello,
awesome.
Phil. Phil is with us here. Phil is the #1 chat master. He makes all the rounds.
Phil is awesome. He's one of the
Yeah,
most
he's
supportive people in indie
totally.
comics and a phenomenal writer. So
No,
I-
Lost Pages 2. Anybody's thinking about it, you should make the choice. It's going to be good.
oh yeah, that is going to be phenomenal. I shared that trailer because last week I want to say, because I haven't been able to get him on this month, although it looks like at the end of the month I'm going to be doing something. So we'll see
Okay,
if he
cool.
can make it. But and you'll be welcome back too. So let's go over your perks real quick, and then I know you got to get out of here. And then
Yeah, let's do it.
so your feature perk is the t-shirt, the book, and the ash can. This is obviously the perk to back if you can. It's $65. So you will get that nail ash can story. You're going to get the hardcover book of Kids and Monsters, the story itself, and you're going to get a really cool t-shirt. Me personally, I like to design the t-shirts. I get them and then I like macho-fy them, I guess. Like I do my own kind of macho man style stuff to it. I'd fringe it. I just like fringe. What can I say? I know it's like horrible. Why are you going to do that to an awesome t-shirt? But I make it look even cooler. You have
I
the
love
Kids and
that.
Monsters digital edition. It's $20 US. And also
You get the
so-
ash can and the graphic novel. You get both with that one.
Oh, with the digital, so you get the ash can as well, digital, and the graphic novel. So that's great. And this
That's
is
right.
good for people that are worried about shipping that live internationally. I want to say
Yeah.
this is probably if you're worried about shipping and all the problems going on. There's a digital edition here for you. There's the Kids and Monsters graphic novel itself. It's $25 US. Then we have the book in the ash can for $33 US. And then both graphic novels, which you did a black and white version of, and I love black and white artwork. It really lets the artist shine. And also too, when you read a story in black and white too, I feel like you gain a different perspective of the story. I don't know why.
Totally.
There's something about black and white to me. I'm just always drawn to it, and it shows how talented this artist really is.
Totally.
And then
Yeah.
lastly, so you have the figurine here for $950 US, and then you have original art. So the original art perk, this is awesome because you have a chance to get some original art. There's 3 more people that have a chance to back this to get original art. You get the Kids and Monsters book, you get the t-shirt. Are they getting the ash can too, or is it just the art instead?
Yep. No, they get the art, the book, the shirt, and the ash can. There was just not enough space on there. But when you click on it, it shows all the perk items there. But yes, you get the ash can too.
So for $235, I mean, that's a steal to own some original art, especially if you're in love with this art style. And it's great because I think everyone should own a piece of original art, in my opinion. And then, this is what you have left for original art. There is B. A is sold out, which that's super cool. So kudos to whoever picked that first, because honestly, that's probably what I would have grabbed, either A or B, to be honest, out of all of these. But there's B. B is left. C is left. And D is left. So if you haven't backed this campaign, you do want to back this campaign. And there is some stretch goals, but they're a mystery until we break the funding. So once the funding is broken, which you guys are really close, you're at 89%. Okay. So hopefully this gets funded within the next couple of days. Are you going to go in demand as well?
Yes, we will go in demand as well, for sure.
Okay, so these stretch goals are a mystery until you break the funding goal. But you get to write your greatest stories on them, which makes me feel like, is it a notebook?
You're going to have to wait and see.
I will have to wait and see. I'm excited for this project. I mean, everyone, if you can back the featured perk, that's what I would do personally. But if you can't, there are other perks that you can back. Anyone that's international and you're worried about shipping, he has solved that with the digital edition. And then the other thing that's awesome about Adam is, like I said, with the Kill Journal campaign, he's been sending the PDFs out of the stories while it's in progress, like waiting for the shipping to come in and everything. Depending on the kind of person you are.
You get them monthly. Yeah, you're going to get them monthly after the campaign closes and the funds come in. Then we start delivering them, which will probably be about January. And so then you'll just every month, January, February, March, you'll get an issue. There's 3 issues inside this hardcover, and then plus the ash can. So
And you don't want to miss out on this because it looks like you're having your Castle Rock moment right now. So the next story is going to take place in the same town. So you want to keep up with all the town's escapades. Adam, where can everyone find you? I know you're going to get going. So
you can find me at Gifted Rebels Co. on Twitter. But the best place to find me is giftedrebels.com, the website. You can see all the stuff. And at Gifted Rebels Co. on Twitter, you can see all the daily updates. And Adam Lawson Substack. If you go there, the newsletter about that is deep dives into the creative process here on Kids and Monsters.
That's awesome. All right, everybody, back Kids and Monsters, and give Adam a follow. Adam has to take off right now, but I got to stay on for a couple minutes to talk about something that Spencer was on recently, and I want to share the Patreon with you guys. But I'll see you soon, Adam. Feel free.
Thanks, Kayla, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Thank you for staying over a little bit of the time.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Have a great evening, and I wish you all the success with this campaign.
Thank you.
All right. So I am going to be sharing something in one moment. Spencer was a guest on Headshots podcast this week, and they have a Patreon. So I just want to share that with you guys so you can see it real quick. So give me 1 second. Let me stop the screen and share the next screen so you can share this and show you guys where you can find their Patreon and everything. So, all right. This is Low Rez's Patreon here from Headshot, or it's all the Headshot guys. Spencer, are you getting the screen shared? Or did you step out for a second? Oh, there we go. Okay, so Spencer was a guest on Headshots podcast this week, so you can expect some craziness going on here and probably some really good stuff. But Low Res here, this is the Patreon here for the Headshot guys. So it's $1 a month to join. If you want the audio, if you want the video, it's $5 a month. And they have an informant perk here, which you'll receive all video and audio material. So they actually have 4 levels. There's another level, which is producer, which is $20 a month if you're interested in. And you get everything you see in the other tiers. But in addition to that, you'll be credited as an executive producer on all of Low Res Wonder Bread's projects to be released online. You'll also be given behind-the-scenes information on upcoming projects that you will not find or hear anywhere else. So I guess I'm going to, should I play this, Spencer, right here?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
I figured
is there anything that you want to say?
No, I just want to give the dudes a shout out. They're great. You guys have seen them on here before. They're cool dudes. We had a hilarious little show. Me and Jeff are still recording an episode on Halloween Kills, but
right here, I can see it. I just pulled it up.
Cool to get on with these dudes, and wanted to share them out really quick. I also got something else to share really quick. For anyone that got a beanie during the campaign, the original person making them doesn't make them anymore, so I'm working on a new design for the new labels. They're gonna most likely have a leather tag on them now, but they'll be even nicer.
Ooh, I like leather.
Yeah.
We're going for a BDSM moment here. We're going for BDSM look at Death Curse. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, I'm working on the burn pattern for the what's it called? Goddamn, the tag for it right now, the patch. Jesus. So yeah, it'll have a nice leather patch instead of the embroidered logo. These are actually a little bit nicer, so it's panning out in the end. But yeah, thank you dudes for watching. Thank you for hanging out tonight. I don't know if you had anything else, Kayla.
Just back Adam's Indiegogo, Kids and Monsters. Check out his other stuff at giftedrebels.com. check out the Patreon for a headshot. And if you're
Yes.
interested, sub over there so you can hear Spencer coming on to talk about, what is it, Halloween Kills you were talking
Oh,
about?
just absolutely
just
nerding
everything?
out about
Oh.
slasher movies,
Wonderful.
cutting them off left and right. I'm the rudest guest in the world, so go pay $1 to listen to it or $5 to watch me. I'm on camera the whole time for it, just screaming and throwing my hands around
Oh
like a
my
fat
God.
Italian man.
And if you haven't subbed to Death Curse, please do us a favor and sub to our channel. Catch
Yes.
when we're streaming. We have my interviews, which are more the serious stuff here, and then we have coffee streams, we have hangout streams, and
The most
we have
wild
a lot
comic
of
book
wild-
podcast that has nothing to do with comic books. Yeah. And go check out Alterna's fall pre-orders. There's like
Yes.
2 or 3 days left now. Absolutely
I think there's 2
crushing
days
it.
left.
We might have actually broken 20K at this point, but go show the dudes how much you love them, I guess. Yeah, that's not weird. Yeah, go check it out. Back it if you haven't already. Get some sweet books. There's a lot of awesome stuff in this lineup. I'm personally really looking forward to Wolf and Batsy from Brian Baugh. Just go over there, get something, maybe get yourself a nice piece of merch or something. If you already got all the books, maybe grab yourself a beanie or something. I think there's new tote bags coming this year too.
Oh, there is lime green.
Yeah, hideous lime green tote bags. Go
I love
get
lime
one.
green.
Yeah, it's gonna be a meme by the end of this. Everybody's gonna be wearing fucking neon colors. Be like,
oh my goodness,
the worst cyberpunk future ever. But thank you guys for hanging out and watching. These are always great. Kayla, you're awesome. You're killing it.
And thank you, Spencer. And thank you to
Yeah.
everyone that comes through in the chat. I appreciate all of you guys and for everyone that interacts with me online and everything. And for the people that watch this or just stop by and just give us a like and have subbed to this channel. We appreciate you here at Death Curse, and I appreciate you guys for supporting my interviewing passion. So,
hell yes. Thank you so much.
Soon.
And yeah, we'll probably see you next Wednesday night for something special.
Yep.
Take it easy, dudes.
Have a good one, everybody.